Okay, here we go.
All right.
Hello, Miami. It is Wednesday, March 27th, 2019, and this is Nothing's Going On, episode 6. I am your host, Rafa, and today we're going to be talking about contractors and how they're never on time. Floating billboards out in the ocean. The Ludlam Trail is going to break ground. Mana's plans for downtown going to change Flagler up. Some stuff going on in the Gables, vegetable gardens, the Inter-Miami soccer team, and sex surgeons. Some other stuff, too. Let me introduce the panel today. Huge panel. To my left, his name is Griff.
Hey, everybody. Feels good to be back.
All right. Okay, let's start. We usually start, which is with the off-the-cuff stuff. And I got something for you. Number one, happy birthday, Griff.
Thank you so much, Rafa. Thank you. 34. Big age.
Griff turned 34 yesterday, and he celebrated with a drink with a couple buddies. I wasn't there. I was busy at the time, and I didn't even know it was your birthday because I'm such a good friend.
It's okay. You don't have Facebook, do you?
I do not have Facebook, no.
That's how everybody knows everybody's birthday.
Oh, you got to put it there. And
it's like a Rolodex.
Yeah. So what I wanted to talk about was, remember last week, me and you, we were at this Frisbee final.
Yes.
So a couple buddies of ours, they run this ultimate Frisbee tournament. I don't play because I don't really do sports, and neither does Griff.
No.
But there was a keg, so we were out there hanging out. And this guy comes up to me, and he just recently moved from Montana. And he just got to Miami, and he is a landscape architect. And he was talking to me about, I think his name was Colin. And he tells me, man, I cannot handle the way people work down here because I can't rely on anybody because they tell me one thing and then it's 10 days later and they still haven't done it. And you got to chase everybody. And then I got to tell the people that hired me why things are delayed and whatnot. And I was wondering if you have some kind of solution for that, or how do you manage that kind of thing? It's such a Miami thing. If you come from other places, it's not as prevalent to just be late on everything.
Well, I mean, I think when it comes down to things like, you just got to micromanage. You just got to be on top of people every day, reminding them, hey, do this, do that, do this, do that. Because or else, they don't do it.
Well, that's the worst part, is that you hire like a contractor, right? And this guy's the foreman on the project or something. It's his job to do the managing. You're hiring him to manage whatever it is. And then you got to, it's another job for you.
Yeah, that's how it is.
And you have a job. And so you're managing this other guy. Do you, imagine you have, so I started to, because I do freelancing. And I know that things are going to take longer. And if I know that certain things that the client isn't going to provide on time and things like that because they say they will and then they won't. I started padding the times. And even then, I don't.
No, what do you mean by padding the times?
So if I know
it's going
to take a certain amount of time to do something, I say it's going to take longer. And then that's still not enough. Let's put it that way. And
it just sucks. I don't think it's.
Do you think you could change the culture here?
All right, so I don't think it's a culture just here. I think it's a culture everywhere. I think it's. I think it is. I think it's also our age group or our generation. It's that way of working. If you look at people, so how do you judge productivity? Let's say if it's an office,
okay,
and you say, all right, so the hours of work are from 8 to 6 or 9 to 5. And what happens if you work and you leave early and you're like, well, I'm already done with my work. So there's different levels of productivity in the way that you look at it. I think our generation is just really lazy.
No, man.
When it comes to those things.
No, because poor Colin from Montana was telling me how in Montana it doesn't fly like that. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's just our generation. I think it's a Miami thing to be late for everything. And that's why Miami time and all that kind of crap.
Then again, I've only been working in Miami per se, so I really don't know how it is like in other states or other cities because I really don't know.
Could you imagine telling people that you're going to be at a meeting
and you show up late
and then they show up on time? That's how it is in other places.
Yeah, when it
Instead
comes to
of-
meetings, I always show up 15 minutes early. But I don't know.
I show up early and I'm stuck waiting for the person.
That
happens.
sucks.
That happens to me all the time. So I don't know. So yeah, I felt for Colin. I kept telling him like, pad your thing, and he was like, I don't want to be dishonest about it. And I'm telling him, no, you're not being dishonest. You are being honest if you think about it, because you know it's going to take longer just from your experience. So just do what you can not to have it, be that kind of situation.
Do you think his habits are going to change though? Like maybe like in 6 months he's
Like,
going to
he's
start being late, and he's going to be like, well, everybody here is the same thing, so I might as well just do the same.
So I think it will eat him up, but he was really fighting hard. He's like, I don't want to be that kind of person. I don't want to be in that kind of situation. So I don't know. Maybe that will happen to him. I mean, it probably will, because the city will eat him up. He's a little Montana boy.
But what I was getting to before, what I was talking about, like hourly working, a lot of people, they, I don't know, they run on their own time. And I think the majority, that's why I go back to our generation. A lot of us are doing freelance, or we work with ourselves. We don't really work at a company. So you get adjusted to that stuff. So I guess it depends.
Dude, I got a contractor right now who told me 7 to 10 days. He finally shows up 20 days later, doesn't have everything ready, okay? So it's only half what he promised in 7 to 10 days. And then screwed up one part of the thing, so it's going to take even longer than it was so he screwed up one little thing, so he had to take it back. And I was kind of telling you this in the car before. It's ridiculous, and I want to yell at the guy, and at the same time, I'm just thinking to myself, like, what? I can't curb his pay, which kind of sucks. I wonder if you can make contracts where you just say, hey, buddy, if you don't deliver X day, then I want.
So there is contracts. For instance, in Colombia, where I work, we're getting one of the houses done, one of the houses, and in the contract it stipulates if he doesn't turn it in on time, we start docking him or charging him a percentage on his job until he finishes it. So it's kind of like a push to get him to do it, and it works.
So I was thinking after the fact of telling the guys, because I don't think any contractor here that's doing some electrical thing at your house is going to go for something like that. They're going to be like, nah, don't work like that.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen because.
But I wonder if you tell them, look, I'll give you $300 more if you really get it in 10 days.
But then how do you pay the $300?
What do you mean?
Pay like 25% at a time, or you just pay him $300 up front and you're like, get it done?
So he says 7 to 10 days, and I say, if you really deliver in 10 days, there's $300 more for you.
At the end, waiting for it.
Yeah.
All right.
But you have to have those extra $300, which you don't have, because who the fuck has $300 more bucks for the job that's already seems pretty damn expensive? Whatever you do seems expensive,
I think contractors, mechanics,
Rich people.
they're all on the same level. Like they work on their own hours. If they could finish it, they could finish it. But I guess, yeah, if you change the contract, maybe you won't get any contractors.
Well, they're finishing somebody's work. It's just
Yeah.
not mine.
Yeah, they're not finishing yours. You've been what? You've been doing your remodel for how long? A simple 1-bedroom remodel?
Too long. It's
More than 3 months.
6.
There you go.
I'm probably at 6 already, yeah.
And they always saw you with, yeah, we'll get this done in 3 months.
Yeah, of course.
And it's 8 months later.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah, and I'm paying everything else, and it sucks.
Welcome to Miami.
Yeah.
That's what you told Colin. Welcome.
All right, anything happened to you?
No.
Been going out, been doing anything?
Take it easy in Miami. I haven't really been going out.
Yeah, me either. I feel like in the fall, everything was turned up. Everything was going. There was so much stuff going on. I was going out all the time, partying. And now in the past, month and a half, 2 months after, right after January, it all kind of died down.
Could it be the second wind is over?
No, my wind is still blowing, but I don't know. Something about this kind of time of the year, you're kind of a little burnt out. We got all these music conferences and stuff like that this week, and I'm going to DJ Harvey. You should.
I'm not doing that.
I know you should.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
I'm not a fan at all. It's just because Wampy, a friend of ours,
Yeah.
he's a very big fan. The Pickle's going to close this year. Probably be the last time I ever go, and it's not like I went a lot anyway, but it'll be cool. A little slice of Miami. And yeah, I mean, there's still tickets Saturday night. If you are thinking, this guy DJ Harvey, he plays disco type of thing. I don't know what to call the sets, but they're very accessible. Let's put it that way. If you're not into that scene, which I'm not really, but I respect it. I think it's cool. Okay, let's go right into the news you can snooze to. Actually, before I do that, let me tell everybody who is. I bet there's nobody watching, but let me just check anyway. Everybody who is out there to subscribe to the show on Instagram, it's called Nothing's Going On, nothingsgoingon.com, graciously hosted by Jolt Radio, best radio station in the world. And the podcast is also on iTunes, Spotify, RSS feeds, everywhere you can find a podcast. If you search for Nothing's Going On in Miami, you will find us. Today, we got a sparse panel.
Super.
It's not always like this, but it's kind of nice. Nice, cozy situation.
Yeah.
And it's hot in here.
It is. I don't know why John doesn't turn on the air.
It's like the Finnish sauna up in here, and it's good. It's nice. All right, let's get right to it. Stuff that's actually going on in this town. Have you seen those floating billboards, Griff?
Yeah, I have. I've seen them like around Star Island. I've seen them everywhere. Yeah, I think it's an interesting way to advertise. I think it's pretty annoying.
Yeah, right?
I think it's annoying. I think there's other ways of advertising.
So when I first saw them, and it was like off the beach, it was just like, you motherfuckers.
It's too much.
You put a billboard at the beach?
It's too much.
It was a little much, right? And then they didn't go away. And some people tried to fight them. You know, of course, Miami Beach is like, oh, our beautiful hotels, blah, blah, blah. We can't have these guys advertising right in front of the thing, but they haven't managed to stop it. Well, what's funny, there was an article in the Herald, is that according to Miami-Dade County Code, those things are illegal. But nobody's enforcing it. They have a code that says floating structures are prohibited if they do not have a water-dependent purpose. There's basically that. And then not only that, their signage laws here in Miami-Dade don't even allow for LED billboards. All those LED billboards you see are technically illegal, but they make the cities so much money.
What do you mean, the ones on the road?
The ones on the road, the ones on the sides of buildings, like at the AA Arena.
Are you sure about this?
That's what it said. It said that those are against code, Miami-Dade code, but City of Miami, which is in, it's its own town, but they don't supersede that code. So these guys are allowing all these horrible billboards. I hate billboards, man. It's like everywhere you go, buy something, buy something, buy something, buy something. You know, it's always in your face. Buy shit, buy shit, buy shit. Everybody's poor in this town. Buy shit, buy shit, buy shit. And now I find out that there's these damn laws that already prohibit this stuff, and nobody's enforcing it. And so I hope.
So who would enforce it? Let's say if you look at the billboard on the water, who's going to go out there and say, "Hey, guy"?
Dade County Code Enforcement, I suppose.
They don't have boats.
They don't have boats, exactly. They're not there to, and they don't have the time for that kind of crap. So these things stand. It's funny to me that the billboards at like the AA Arena, LED billboards are not allowed. You're not allowed to have like flashing lights on a billboard. But somehow these guys got, everybody's just like, whatever, go with the flow. It's a very Miami thing to do, right?
Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, it's a very Miami.
You've said this before, by the way.
One of the things I say about this town is that there's rules here, but it's not like California. I think we said this last. There's some rules that you just know how to bend here, and you just never get caught. That's why Florida's nice, honestly, for a lot of things, because they're not so strict, but the rules are on the books. That if they want to bust you, they can go after you.
It's true.
But at the same time, nobody's going to give a shit if you're smoking a joint at the bar or whatever, because nobody gives a shit until you do something else, and then they're like, actually, what you're doing there is illegal, and so we're going to bust you for that. Very Miami way to do things, and I guess it's the same with the billboards, right? So, no, sorry, I got distracted there. So it just pisses me off, and I don't know the solution, I guess, but that's what it is.
Billboards on the water.
How do you feel? You don't
I think it's horrible. It kills the whole thing.
The vibe, right?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it looks cool at night. I'm not gonna lie, it does. Because at nighttime you see it and it actually looks really good. But it's kind of weird. I don't know.
It's like buy some Pringles or some shit, It's like, I don't want to buy your damn Pringles right now or whatever they're selling. Go to the Bahamas or something. Anyway, you guys should know.
I was going to ask you, you just reminded me, is it still a thing to have like the same thing, like an ad on a trailer being pulled by a truck? Is that still...
Okay, so that's also illegal. All those trucks with just ads on them, they're illegal. But nobody does anything about it. What I don't get is why they don't do anything about it. And
Nobody
I guess
knows.
Again, it goes back to that Miami thing. The reason we have so many bad drivers is because they won't tighten up on the driver's license.
You don't think it's because it came from Latin America or something? And
Well,
they
yeah.
drive like animals over there?
Right, but how did these people get a driver's license?
Well, it's pretty easy. It's $20 and you take, a test, a written and an oral.
Okay.
Or written and...
Let me tell you the story of my driver's license test. It was on the one that now is defunct by Merrick Park. Merrick Park wasn't there, but it was this little hut, this little
The Coral
place
Gables
on
DMV.
Yeah, exactly, that one. So I drove out there. That's only where you can only take the written one there. They
Right.
didn't have driver's
Didn't
tests
have the
there.
driver's
You can
test.
only take the written one there. I go there to take the written test, and I see the instructor letting the people who don't speak English use the driving book, the little book that I had been studying,
Yeah.
I was a little dumb 15-year-old, like, oh my God, I gotta know all this crap. And the guy's there telling them, like, just use the book, here you go, don't worry about it, like that. Okay, so
Yeah.
those guys all get their learners or whatever. I don't know what they're doing.
That's why they shut it down, by the way.
Me think so.
Probably.
And then when I got the actual test, I had to go out to Sweetwater, and there's a DMV there, and the whole test was in a parking lot. You never go out to the street. You never have to do any real driving, These people, if they had to drive for 30 minutes, they'd all fail. No?
I think so.
I mean, another thing I have written down here in the notes is about some person who got struck by the bright line in their car the other day. Did you see this?
So I saw it. I didn't really look into it.
Well,
But so what happened? You went under the.
The person never read the part of the book that says don't stop on the railroad
What
tracks,
an idiot.
and the train slammed right into the car, and it killed the person. Of course,
Could have been suicidal.
I don't think in a car.
I mean, come on. It's not like cars are getting stuck on the railroad. Like,
I think if you're really dumb and really didn't learn how to drive because nobody enforces you having to get a driver's license properly. I mean, it's not impossible that you don't know what to do when the things come down. You know that you're not supposed to
what
be
are those
there.
things called? Railroad crossing.
Barriers? I don't know. The things come down. So this person just stopped right on the tracks. The things came down, and then they felt stuck, I suppose, and then they got nailed by the thing. And the thing comes
Pretty quick.
It comes fast, but they lower the things a good amount earlier. I saw another one like 3 weeks ago where the person did the same thing. They got stuck in between because they stopped on the tracks, and that person managed to get out of their car, and then the train plowed right through the car. This goes back, bringing it back, is because there's no enforcement with the driver's test. So everybody's allowed to drive however they want. If there was a little bit more enforcement with the driver's test, then you wouldn't have so many morons. I know that in Europe, well, not everywhere in Europe, it depends on the place, but I know the one people always say is Germany. It might cost you like $2,000 to get your driver's license.
Really?
Between all
$2,000?
because you got to take all these driver's tests. You got to take driving school and all that stuff. So before you do anything, it's just, driving school for some couple weeks. You learn everything, and then you go take the test. You don't take. Then the other thing is there's higher fees because they make you use cars that they own. They don't let you bring your own car. You got to drive stick. You got to know how to do basically everything. You have to be a proper motorist.
It's really easy. It's $20. Here
The
you
other
go.
reason they do it like that here, I know, is because if you don't have a car, you pretty much can't work. It's
true.
really hard, So I know for the economy, they don't want to raise those limits because if not, you're gonna create a situation where you got a bunch of people who can't move around. But still, man, I don't know why. I don't know. Yeah, I think they should do just a little harder, $50.
I don't know,
Something,
between
instead of 25.
the code enforcement, the contractor, and call-in and all this stuff, it just sounds like Miami's just in shambles. Shambles.
Well, it's also
Culture.
nice because of that, because some places, they're just not as uptight for things. If you go to California, it's a little more loosey-goosey with the actual laws as written, you can smoke pot, whatever, do certain things. You can probably drive faster. Traffic is way better. I've driven on those highways.
So have I.
It's way better. They don't drive like we do. Like, they still get traffic jams, but they don't drive like we do.
Yeah, we drive pretty bad.
Yeah. There's no respect here for the white lines, blah, blah, blah.
When was the
blah.
last time you went on Palmetto? How bad was that? That was pretty bad. Palmetto sucks.
It's everywhere, though. And you get all these reports, if you read online, of people, cyclists getting hit constantly, in crosswalks and stuff like that because the drivers aren't looking, ever paying attention.
Yeah, they're on their phone.
On their phone. When you see that guy swerving in the middle of the day, he's not drunk, he's looking at his phone. Anyway. It's Wednesday, March 27th, 2019, here at Jolt Radio. Nothing's going on in Miami, episode 6. It's me and Griff here tonight.
Just us two.
And the other thing I got written down here, let me tell you this fun little story. So in Coral Gables, they're doing this development, right? It's called the Plaza or something like that. And this is a $600 million mini city along Ponce, 4 blocks south of Miracle Mile. And it's 1.1 million square feet of condos, offices, shops, restaurants, parking garages, and a 240-room hotel. Okay? This is a big thing. It's kind of like a Brickell City Center, but with a couple touches to make it look like Coral Gables instead of Brickell. Okay, so it looks more that kind of old architecture, but it doesn't really because the towers are so big that it looks a little crazy. Anyway, so that's going down right now. They already broke ground. They're doing the thing. And this story comes out of a 90-year-old woman who decided not to sell her house, and it's right in the middle of the development. Okay, so you look on the map, and she's got her little house and her little yard, and it's all surrounded by a fence, and the whole rest of the thing is just construction, cranes, and stuff like that. And she comes out in the little video on the Herald, and she's like, "Oh, no, yo tenía esta casa, American dream, comprar esta casa," and all this stuff. Okay, so
She should have sold it.
she was offered $900,000. She said no 35 times. She's 90 years old, and she has a son who's in his 60s, and he doesn't want to sell either. And this whole story is kind of crazy because I can't believe that in the Gables, where they're all so hoity-toity about things, that they would allow a $600 million ginormous development. But it's even better that this woman is like the last holdout of the holdouts.
There's a guy out in Brickell that did the same thing.
Really?
Yeah, there's a guy next to the Metro Rail.
Are you talking about the guy with the
that crazy guy
with the little
same concept,
fountain of youth in the back of his house?
The guy didn't want to sell.
Yeah, but that guy's got something going on. If you guys don't know about that little house, I forgot what it's called. He's got a name for it, and he's got this little spring in the back of his house. And you can go visit, and the guy will give you a little tour. And he's kind of a spiritual kind of guy.
He's like a native Indian, Native American, or something like that.
Is he?
I think so. I could be wrong. Obviously.
Okay. Well, this is something he's actually on. If you look on the map, his house is actually listed as like a point of interest. But anyway, these last holdouts, I kind of side. I mean, I don't side with these people in the sense that I don't think it's the best thing to do because this lady's house is going to go between 2 gigantic parking garages, is what they said. So they're going to build huge, maybe like 50-foot walls on both sides of her house, and she's just going to be enclosed in this little area. And now her property is probably not worth much because the developer's already planned all around it. And when she does decide to sell, even if they buy it, I mean, it's just going to be an alley between 2 parking garages the way they've set it up. But I kind of like her sticking it to the man, even though when she was talking about it, her reasons to do it, I don't know. I guess they were noble in the sense she just didn't want to sell.
And where's she going to go or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. That's what she was saying. Where am I going to go? This is where I always lived. This is where I want to live in this neighborhood. I mean, for $900,000, she could have bought another house a couple blocks away.
My big question is, we've been building all these like these areas of
malls, kind
malls.
of thing.
Isn't everybody buying everything in Amazon, and all these mom and pop stores are closing down?
So
what? I don't get it.
So that's interesting. The low end mall seems to be going away, but the high end mall still has some kind of a shelf life. Apparently, I don't know why exactly. I mean, you can think the Design District, you can think Brickell City Center, and now this thing. Something about the high end mall, and they're going to have people living in it too. That kind of changes the dynamic. I don't understand why. I don't like going shopping in those places, but maybe tourists do.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, do you ever go shopping? Do you ever go to like Merrick Park or any of that stuff?
Almost. I mean, I go to was a Salvation Army and little else.
That's right. you buy stuff second time around.
That's where I get my shopping deals, and only because I can't buy that kind of stuff online. If I could. I'd probably do it there too.
But yeah, I always wonder like what's going on because all these big stores are closing down. So I'm just curious, like who's going to fill up this space?
What I wonder is if it's going to last. So, Brickell City Center. Okay, right now it's bustling. People go.
Yeah, it's good.
People like to go. I don't know who, but they do.
Well, it's a pretty cool mall, like in the middle of like downtown.
Yeah,
it looks cool.
It definitely looks cool. The fact that it's
accessible
and it's like in the city and it's
outdoorsy.
Yeah, not just outdoorsy. It just feels like you're still on the street, kind of. So that gives it a little bit of a thing. But I wonder if in 10 years or so, that kind of thing will, once it's old.
What, like the bakery center?
Well, the bakery center was cool though,
but it was empty forever.
Yeah, it was.
It was really bad.
So, I mean, that happened. The same thing happened to Cocoa Walk. The same thing happened in this. And I wonder if Cocoa Walk, they're redeveloping it too because they want to be, like a Brickell City Center or whatever. I do wonder if those places have legs once the novelty wears off.
I guess we'll see.
Lincoln Road does pretty well. It's not really a mall, but it's kind of...
No, it's definitely a mall. I just think a lot of people are leaving, or a lot of big stores or stores in general, is because the rent is too high.
Yeah.
It's like ridiculous.
Do you like, I personally, especially with Brickell City Center has this too, but it's more cityscape. But what I really don't like that they're doing in the Coral Gables thing is that it's kind of like its own little town, like this like little fake town.
I just looked at the pictures and they have like a garden and everything in the middle. Yeah, maybe.
I've never liked that because it feels so fake. It's like, oh, this is like the fake park for the mall, the mall park. Is that...
I don't know. It's like when you go to Merrick Park.
Tacky. It's like, what am I going to fucking hang out at the mall park?
People do with kids.
You know where I used to hang out? Remember Dadeland had those little party pits?
And they still have them.
Those little... Really?
Yeah.
I haven't been in a long time.
Yeah, they still have them.
Those little pits that were just carpet and the kids were just playing them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were great.
Yeah, they were great.
It's crazy that Dadeland Mall used to be open when they opened it.
Like, what do you mean?
It wasn't enclosed. It was an open mall.
No way.
Yeah, look it up.
I did not know that. Yeah. How long ago was that?
Poof. I don't know. I want to say like 70s. I don't know. I don't know when they opened up.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea. Wish
Late
Artie
60s.
was here. If Artie was here, he could tell us. He probably
probably
was there when they broke ground. No, okay. Yeah, I guess I understand with the families and stuff like that. You're taking your kid in the stroller. You're going to do that type of shit. Take the kids out.
You haven't slept. You might as well just walk around.
But nowadays you got the Amazon, so you may as well take the kid in the stroller to the actual park instead of the thing.
I think definitely Amazon is going to be the future. But I still got to go to a mall to buy jeans.
Yeah, you say that. You told me that before. I don't.
Still got to do it.
I still buy my pants online.
No way, man.
Go to pants.com, get those super pants.
Levi's, they have their stuff, manufactured in Indonesia and Philippines, and they all have different sizes.
Yeah, I know. That's happened to me with the online buy also. You get some Levi's, and they're different sizes. Yeah, than the last time you bought them. Whatever. I guess that's how it goes. So, yeah. I'm struggling here, Griff.
It's okay. It's Wednesday.
Yeah, it is Wednesday. It's March 27th, 2019. It's about 9:50 p.m. If you're tuning in right now, we are live on Jolt Radio. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about this. Last week, was it last week? 2 weeks ago, last time we were on, we talked about this sex surgeon. This guy was the head of U Health's.
Was he head of something?
Yeah, he was head of the department that did sex change operations and those and that whole thing. It was I think the title was like LGBTQ kind of surgery department or something like that, or affairs or something like that. And this guy was posting these Instagram pictures that were, I don't know, they were out of line for a surgeon to be posting. Of the surgeries and stuff like that, you know, all these like mutilated parts, and then he would put all these hashtags where he would say like super sexy and all this kind of stuff. I don't know. It was weird. It was just weird. And he finally got caught, and they reported that they had fired him. But now he's come out and said, no, I was not fired. Okay, I stepped down because people said that my Instagram was offensive. And then he said, my Instagram got hacked.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Uh-huh.
Dude, why do people think that is a valid... My Instagram got hacked. All right, yeah, sure it did. But
do you think his career is over?
You know, what's funny is that when you have the experience, you might be able to find somebody to overlook that. But when you're dealing with patients, it's a little different because... Man, and you got famous for it. It's
yeah.
I think maybe. Artie was telling us that story about the doctor who didn't want to hire him after they found out they were about to hire him for another position, and then they found out what happened.
Not today.
So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think he does work again. Not in this town, at least.
Yeah.
That
kind of sucks.
Would you
hire him? No.
Would you let him do surgery to you?
No. After knowing that he posted pictures and stuff, no. Even if I didn't come out at him.
What if
he has like my nuts on camera? No, I don't feel comfortable with it.
What if it's not your nuts? What if it's like a hand surgery, but he was really good at hand surgery?
I mean, I don't think it's a problem as long as he tells me, hey, look, I'm going to take a picture. You know, he has my consent. I don't have a problem with that. But if you're doing it behind my back, and I'm like, yo, that's my hand on your Instagram account. What's up?
And what if... But would you trust him as a surgeon? That's what I'm asking. Like, to actually do the operation.
I don't know. Maybe he has a track record and he's good, you know?
Maybe. Well, if he's like head of the department, he's got to be half decent, right? Would you... So, you don't know. I guess, with all the surgeons out there, I'd rather have the guy who didn't get caught doing that stuff. Right?
But you would still go to him. You'd still hire him.
You'd still hire him? What do you mean?
I'm saying you would.
Look, what I'm saying is that if a person does their job well, if you got like a discount or something, you know?
What kind of discount are you talking about, Ralph?
He only cuts half off.
Oh, okay, thanks.
No? You wouldn't? No, because there's enough surgeons out there that you don't have to use the guy who got busted for doing this kind of stuff. So I wonder if he retires now. He's only 50 years old, though.
Yeah, he's not going to retire. He spent like 20 years in med school. You know how that is.
Well, I wonder. I guess we'll find out. I guess you could also wait, you know.
Until it calms down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so that, not just wait, cynically wait, but I'm saying, you know, you have a moment of reflection. Everybody, you can be forgiven for something like this. It's not like he did something so reprehensible. Yeah, I mean, it was bad. He definitely broke the trust of his patients.
He's probably still board certified though.
Oh, I wonder. Yeah, he probably is.
Yeah.
Oh. So, I mean, with a little time, asking for forgiveness, I could see him. I could maybe use a doctor like that. All right, everybody. We're here in Miami. a nice town. Nice weather today.
A little windy.
A little windy, but it's nice too. I thought winter was over, but now it's not over. But let's not talk about the weather, because weather is always boring. Let's talk about something else that's really boring. This Miami Shores couple wanted a vegetable garden. Well, they had a vegetable garden in their front yard. Okay? Then comes the Miami Shores local government and tells them, you're not allowed to have a vegetable garden. We just passed a rule, no vegetables in the front yard. Okay? I saw the pictures. These people's yard was nice looking. Okay? I don't know, like, it's not that they were trying to go after them for being ugly. The yard looked nice. So they banned them from having this. They sue. They lose. They take it all the way to right before the Supreme Court, Florida. This Florida Supreme Court doesn't want to hear the case. Whatever. It gets wind of the Florida legislature, and they pass a law saying nobody is allowed to ban vegetable gardens in the whole state of Florida. What the hell was Miami Shores thinking, trying to ban somebody from having a vegetable garden? What's the difference between a tomato and...
Well, it's for aesthetic reasons, just like how Coral Gables before you couldn't have like a pickup truck, I think it was, like, or a working van or a working truck. It's the same concept, aesthetics.
So the thing is, you have to look at these people's garden. It was nice looking. I wonder what this town was thinking with this kind of ordinance, because, like, especially now in this kind of society that we're living in, and we do live in a society where everybody is, grow local, do local crap.
For the last, 6 years, maybe 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, now it's popular. There's
probably when
movement.
That ordinance was put in through, everybody was microwaving their food.
No. Should they put the ordinance after they saw her yard?
Oh.
Yeah. But you'd think you want to encourage that kind of thing, and then they come and they put the ban hammer on this.
I would
poor
definitely
woman.
encourage it to have your own little garden with your vegetables, your stuff. I
Right?
think it's perfectly fine. I mean, that's why you have a house. You could do that.
What about the pickup trucks in Coral Gables?
I don't think that's a problem. Personally, I don't think they have it anymore.
No, they don't. Because somebody sued and
Pickup trucks are super nice now. $60,000-$80,000 pickup trucks.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know if the money is why you can't have. I mean, I don't know if money makes a pickup truck nicer. I do kind of understand that they don't want work trucks. I thought they were a little too much with them, a little too Nazi about it. But I do understand a little bit that they were trying to keep a certain. They only let you paint your house a certain color and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. I never knew it was true or not.
Yeah, I heard that in China, you pick your front door neighbor's house color because you're the one who has to see it.
Nah. Not coming from the country that only has one kid policy. No way.
No, that's not true, but it kind of makes sense that you want to make a neighborhood look a certain way and not have some new neighbor come in and be like, I'm going to park my truck in the front and I'm going to paint my house black.
Kind of like the thing that's going on here with I want to say Midtown with the flag.
Oh, the flag guy?
The Puerto Rican flag, is it? Is it a Puerto Rican flag?
We could talk about that.
On the building?
Let me tell you what Puerto Rican flag guy, what happened to Puerto Rican flag man. So there's a restaurant called La Placita, and it's there it's kind of on Biscayne and up there in the Mimo district. 60s.
Mimo or Mimo?
Miami Modern? Mimo.
Gotcha. Mimo.
So this guy painted the whole building with a Puerto Rican flag. And then the historic board said, hey, buddy, this is a special district and you can't just paint a Puerto Rican flag on the building, It's against the aesthetic of the neighborhood. You can't just have everybody painting ISIS flags and Puerto Rican flags on the thing. Yeah. Luckily, it's not an ISIS flag. It's just a Puerto Rican flag. So he goes and he fights it, and he has a new hearing in April, but at the last one, he lost, okay? He goes and he says, the flag won't go. I will fight against wind and sea to defend this work and the Puerto Rican culture. Our flag will be respected. We will defend it. We have the support of the Puerto Rican diaspora, and we will make ourselves heard. We are part of the history of the United States. So if the Historic Preservation Board wants to preserve history, we are part of it. I think that's kind of retarded to say, but
it's like hashtag me orgullo. Actually talking about like historical wise, yeah, Puerto Ricans have a lot to do with history.
Sure, but what does the flag on the side of the building have anything to do with it, dude?
Nothing. And it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
I drove by there the other day. It doesn't look good
It does
at all.
not look good at all, and I understand why they want to get rid of it.
No.
But one of the people on the vote was kind of close, and he might actually manage to swing one of the voters on the next appeal, which is, I mean, I understand that he put the thing up and he had to pay all the money to get it painted, which was probably expensive to paint a whole building. It's like 4 stories. It's huge. But, man, you can't just go into neighborhoods and do whatever you want, man. We live in a society. We got to play by the rules. I guess sometimes the rules are onerous. You don't want to follow those rules. All right. Then you fight them. But don't paint a damn flag on your building,
Yeah,
dude.
it doesn't look good.
It does not look good. Not only that, then to add a little salt to the wound for this guy, like 2 weeks later, like a week ago now, the Herald comes out with a review of the restaurant, and they're like,
it bombed.
He's got like Puerto Rican food, but
Mofongo.
kind of, yes, mofongo, but like high end. I keep saying like too much. But like a high end mofongo, like
They put the chips on top.
The picture looks like you scooped it out with an ice cream scoop and put it like in a little, I don't know.
They want to get rid of the flag, call Gordon Ramsay to come down and take care of his restaurant for him.
So I heard it's not that good, but maybe that flag is bringing people. That's the thing. You change the flag, and then suddenly nobody knows you're the Puerto Rican guy in town.
That's true.
And you kind of lose that thing. It definitely is an attention grabber.
Yeah.
And he's gotten all this press for it and stuff like that. Anyway, the Herald says don't go eat there. I haven't been, but I don't like the flag, so I'm not going to go eat there either. All right. Have you heard about Inter Miami?
Yes. And it's not really in Miami.
Okay, so there's a couple things happening with the Inter Miami Soccer Club. This is David Beckham's soccer club. Well, he's one of the investors. MLS club, going to start here in Miami. First, they had this fight. They put it to the voters to take over the Mel Reese Golf Course, which is that huge plot of property right outside the airport. Primo property.
Primo.
And so people are mad because they're not just going to put a stadium. They're going to put a mall also and a hotel. And so it's kind of a cash grab from the county.
Back to malls, man.
Yeah, but these guys, what they're doing is, we'll build a soccer stadium for our soccer team, but actually we're doing a real estate deal on free government land because these guys are going to give us the land for really cheap to do all this stuff. And so some people sued, but what I was reporting on here was that they lost the suit. The suit alleged that there was a thing in the last time we voted in November. There was a referendum amendment thing to see if we would allow them to get this rental with no bids, no competitive bidding. It would just go straight to them.
I remember that.
And people voted yes. They were like, oh, soccer in Miami, yes, 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 of course, we want that. Right. And so somebody sued. Actually, you know who sued?
Joe Carrillo?
Bruce Matheson.
Really?
Yeah. So he sues, and he says, look, you didn't explain to the people exactly what's going on here. These people are doing a real estate deal. This is how much the land is valued at. You guys put this in right at the last minute. And, of course, they voted yes because everybody wants a soccer team. That failed in court. Okay? But then we find out a couple things. Number one, they're going to do their training facility at Lockhart Stadium, which is in Fort Lauderdale.
Been there.
Right now it's shuttered. They're going to open it back up. Then one of the investors, this guy, Mas, I think his name's George Mas.
Yeah. From the Mas Canosa family, I think.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
He comes out and he says, Miami-Dade parks are crap, and that's why we can't do the training facility there. And then he comes out and says, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that they were crap. I meant that they were not good enough. So anyway, now they're going to... One little detail that I saw is that they're going to play the first 2 years in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, so Miami Fusion did something very similar.
They played at Lockhart.
Yeah. I remember going to one of those games. And, yeah, it's Fort Lauderdale.
The thing is bullshit. These guys take all the money from the county. I mean, money. When you get a tax break, it's basically taking money because it's taxes you're not paying that we're going to have to pay, and they're not paying it, you know? So when they get this tax break, it's like that. Now, you can say, well, they're creating all this thing. They're going to invest all this money. Whatever. I invest money in when I pump gas. You know what I mean? I'm not getting any tax breaks. So these guys are doing that. They're getting this great real estate deal. And then they're going to play for 2 years in Fort Lauderdale? Where's that shit?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Like, that's... And, you know, that's if the stadium is built in 2 years or whatever. I mean, ideally, they do want to play in Miami. But
Where do you think they're going to build it?
At that Mel Reese thing.
Oh, that's actually going to go down.
I mean, this guy sued to try and get it to stop, but we passed the amendment. It happened. They allowed it, and Miami-Dade County is just... They go after every deal like this. As soon as somebody says, I want to invest, you know, X amount of money, Miami-Dade is just falling over for them. Yes, we'll give you all the... You know, you don't have to pay taxes for X amount of years. Yes, we'll lease you this enormous plot of land right next to the airport, right off the highway, perfect place for it. We'll lease it to you for nothing. Don't worry about it.
As taxpayers, you know? we got ripped off with the American Airlines arena, didn't we?
The American Airlines got screwed. We're still getting screwed, and they're going to renegotiate the deal, but they're not fighting hard enough, it seems.
They should just put the soccer team at Joe Robbie Stadium, where everything else goes to die there, like the Lipton. Well, you like that? Old words, old things.
Yeah, everything does die at Joe Robbie. You know, when after the Dolphins went over there, it was over. They'll never win a Super Bowl ever again because of that. Oof. And I don't want to talk sports because I'm not the biggest sports guy.
Yeah, neither am I.
But anyway, I mean, it just has this thing to it that means you're not gonna. It has no character. You know what I mean? It has no life because the city's not out there. It's in the middle of nowhere, and it's got no life. Not like going to the Orange Bowl back in the day. Did you ever do that?
Yeah, I did that. That was actually really exciting.
Dude, the Orange Bowl was amazing. Amazing, dude. And I can't believe that they let that thing, especially the UM, didn't keep it up because they left it to such a disrepair that they couldn't restore it for any reasonable amount of money, you know? And that's a damn shame because now the Hurricanes are playing also at Joe Robbie, dying. I mean, it's just not the same. They had that one season with the chain and whatever. What, you know, that's
that was
like
last year, I think it was.
But it's just not the same, man. You go to those games, it's just not the same. So it's all cushy, and it's just not the same.
That should be the slogan of Miami. It's just not the same because we have problems with like the Coconut Grove Playhouse. We have problems with like buildings like in the Grove. St. Stephen's had a school, and they had like the school St. Stephen's had a building, and it was like historical, or it wasn't historical, but they knocked it down. So we knocked down everything in Miami.
Well, it's not just about knocking it down. Because sometimes, you know, you got to change things to, you know, things change. And you can't just expect that things aren't going to change.
Of course.
But give it a little thought, you know. Give it a little thought, make it a little better. I'll tell you one that, okay. The Marlins Stadium.
Never been, by the way.
Never?
Never.
Okay. The Marlins Stadium is... Apart from the fact that we got screwed as the taxpayers because we paid like $500 million. We paid $500 million for that stadium, and we don't even own it.
That's so sad.
We gave it to them. Can you believe that? That's ridiculous. Anyway, we paid that money. They own it. Whatever. The stadium itself is in a good place.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's a good size. It would have a lot more life, I think, if it was a little... It was... I don't know how they didn't think of this, but to make it a little more multi-use, you could have had those MLS games in there if they would have just made it a little more multi-use than it is now. Right now, it's just perfect for baseball, and everything else has to be shoehorned in, and it doesn't work for a lot of other sports. And the Marlins just never took off the way. Do you think the soccer will take off?
I don't think so. Because I remember when Miami Fusion came out, I mean, it really didn't hit. It never really caught on.
In Fort Lauderdale, is it going to catch on less than in Miami?
I don't know. I think it will catch on less in Fort Lauderdale because we do have more of a Hispanic crowd in Miami-Dade. So maybe when they bring it back to Miami, when they have it built, it'll probably be a hit. But I mean, MLS is not a hit.
Have you seen some of the games in like Chicago and stuff like that? They get packed and people get rowdy.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I haven't been following up.
Oh, some stadiums do have a lot of attendance. I just wonder if Miami already has that bandwagon fan type of thing. Myself included. You know, when the Heat's doing well. Yeah, sure, I'll go watch the game or whatever.
You go to Versailles and hit the pan.
Yeah, something like that. Okay. Oh, that's soccer for you. That's your little update of how we're all getting fleeced.
It's so sad.
See these fights for spring break in Miami Beach?
Wow.
Woo! Okay, so it's been spring break for 2 weeks, I guess. I guess some colleges had spring break last week. And this week, too. Now, Miami-Dade schools are on spring break right now. And all these videos came out of... Basically, the only videos that came out were fights. People love to show fights. There was fights at Cameo. There was fights in the middle of the street. There was fights on the beach,
and
like the sand.
Pictures of tanguitas and culitos.
Yeah, of course. So what I heard is that, first of all, that Panama City Beach up in North Florida, that they used to take in a good amount of the spring break crowd, and they stopped. They got fed up, and they shut it down. And so this year... people don't want to go to Panama City Beach because it's crackdown. And so they all came here, which I'm sure by next year there's going to be a crackdown here too.
Definitely.
Do you ever read about or remember in the 80s that Fort Lauderdale had the biggest spring break in the country?
Yeah, I remember that.
And then at some point, the mayor of Fort Lauderdale said, he went on TV and he was like, we don't want you spring breakers here anymore. This place is off limits for spring breakers. And they put a bunch of cops, a bunch of laws to just harass people to, you know, make spring break boring, you know? I wonder if that's going to happen with Miami Beach. Miami Beach keeps trying it. The only thing is that the hotels on Ocean Drive love it. It's so much money for them.
So much money.
And they don't even care if it's fights all day. They just love that money, and those people pay it.
Is it really a college spring break or...
Yeah, it's college spring break.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, of course, other people tag along who didn't, you know, all the friends who
didn't...
It's
a shit show, man.
All the friends who didn't go to college and just want to hang out, they're showing up too, of course, you know? And it just creates these horrible situations. I'm going to mention this thing. It's so raunchy, and...
It's okay.
I was talking to somebody about how the show should be less raunchy, but I'm going to say this anyway because it was one of the better videos I saw. Do you know what I'm about to mention?
I have a feeling. It's okay.
Okay, so it's somebody on Washington. I'm pretty sure it's Washington Ave, and they're on the beach. And this, you see, you're in the perspective of somebody holding their phone, filming from their car, and they're pointing it at another car, and you see a guy up on the up against the window. It looks like they're talking to the person. But then 2 seconds later, the guy backs up, zips his zipper up, the girl wipes her mouth, and she just keeps driving, and the guy walks off. And it's just like, oh man, what have I been doing with my life?
Yeah, you got to go to spring break and just put your dick in the car.
And it makes so some of the questions I had about that kind of thing was, number one, like, did this guy walk around hard? He's just walking around hard.
It was probably his girlfriend, or it was probably, or do you think it was random?
I think it was random, dude.
Just some chonga just in a car waiting for something.
Yeah, why not? It's spring break, you know.
Yeah, I guess.
And this guy's like, "Hey, you want to what?"
When you're 22 or something, yeah, I could see that.
You want to give a little?
Yeah.
And anyway, you guys got to track down this video. Just search for like spring break on Twitter. It's worth the watch just because it's so brazen. Just when you thought nothing could shock you anymore. I mean, I just told you, so it's not going to shock you anymore, but you're just like, wow, these people are on another level.
How long has...
I feel like I'm getting old. I'm not doing this stuff.
you're definitely getting old, and you're definitely not doing that, and you're not having it done to you. But when was it the turnaround time when Miami Beach did become such a popular hit for spring break? You got me thinking about it. When was it? Like, was it in the early 2000s?
I think it was soon. You know what happened is early 2000s. It was the Euro high-end crowd. Okay?
Right.
That lasted. I mean, there was always, your what are these clubs that were not as, they were kind of macro clubs and they would just let anybody in. But it started getting more, I guess, like a cheaper tourist after the crisis, after 2008, 2010, and then 2012. From then on, it started getting bad, and now they're all constantly complaining about violence and people getting too rowdy
It's
on
really
Ocean
bad,
Drive and all that stuff. Yeah.
Like the shootings. I don't know if you remember a few years ago, there was like a video of a guy that ran over a bunch of cops and they shot him in the middle of the
Oh
street.
yeah.
So a lot of stuff has been going down.
But that was just ridiculous. Like that was a different story because those cops, that guy, and then they said he had a gun, but he didn't have a gun.
No.
And those cops just shot that guy because he was drunk and fleeing. I mean, he did drive like right past them, but there's a video and they shoot like I don't know how many bullets. It's like 50 shots,
50 rounds.
and the guy just dies right there in the car.
guy's dead.
Yeah, they shot somebody else too. They shot bystanders. They shot everybody. Yeah. So, yeah, that was when it was out of control. I think that was on Memorial Day weekend type of thing. But I don't know when it all started, and they keep talking about cracking down, but they're just not doing it.
So when does it end?
I kind of like, when does spring break end? I think this Sunday.
So are you going to go?
Right after
Spring break
Ultra.
2019? You should go. I'm dead serious.
It's not my scene, man. But I do like that Miami Beach is a little raunchy, I think that's, I don't know. It's better than the high-end stuff. I can't afford the high-end stuff, so I like that it's raunchy.
You can't really afford, if I mean, it's the same prices. If you think about it.
Is it? Yeah, I guess it is.
I mean, you're still going to pay $15 for a drink.
Yeah, you're right. I go to the Deuce, $5 a beer.
There you go.
And like
Boom.
$8 for a drink.
$5 a beer, and that's like a big thing.
Yeah, I know. That's on the beach, but for the beach, it's cheap.
It is cheap.
Yeah, if you go somewhere else, you go to Mike's or if you go to
You should go to Spring Break 2019.
Happy's or something, it's going to be like $350
You should go to Juanpi's house
or something. For what?
You should go to Juanpi's apartment. He's
what?
on the beach. You should check it out. Check out the scene. Take a camera.
I went to this performance on Saturday night, and it was on 21st and Collins. And up there was fine. You could see the tourists walking a little bit, but there wasn't a lot of people or anything like that. It's only south of 17th that's really a problem. And yeah, like you said, it's not really my scene, even if it was a little cheaper. Except for the Deuce, which is on 14th, which I did try to go. I forgot when. The first weekend of spring break, I think I tried to go. And there was so much traffic, I had to just leave. Yeah. Anyway, that's your Miami Beach spring break update on this Wednesday, March 27th, 2019. Nothing's going on in Miami, episode 6, here live on Jolt Radio. Subscribe to the show on Instagram, Nothing's Going On, and nothingsgoingon.com. And then get you can listen to this on repeat on the podcast. And it'll be delivered right to your inbox, and you don't have to even worry about checking it out live.
There you go.
All right, Griff, let's go into, because we're already an hour in, let's go into the calendar. What's going on this week and what's going on next week? We're doing the show now twice a month. Thank you, Jolt.
Yes.
Very happy to do that. And we'll have the rest of the panel on in 2 weeks, and we'll go a little livelier. This has been a kind of subdued experience.
Mellow.
Yeah, a little more mellow today. Well, let's talk about what's going on. John, you've not been with me to Space Mountain yet. Space Mountain is this... You haven't been with me, right?
No.
Okay, so on 62nd and...
Definitely not.
Probably 7th. You make a left on 62nd, go under the highway, and it's right there. So Space Mountain tomorrow night has this kind of performance and I think sound art and some other kind of things. It looks to be really good. It's called Machina. Look them up on Instagram. Space Mountain tomorrow. On Friday, you also have Space Mountain with Palomino Blonde and Foxwood playing. Palomino Blonde's a band I recommend here all the time. And then on Friday, also at the 777 Mall, Friday, March 29th, they're doing a swap shop. This is perfect for me, where people are going to sell their old clothes and they're going to swap old clothes.
This explains why you're not that guy in South Beach. Because they could smell you.
From 4 to 9 p.m., Griff. From 4 to 9 p.m.
Where's the 77 Mall?
777 Mall is on Flagler Street. It is it's something that we didn't get to. Is talking about Mana's plans. Moishe Mana owns it. He's a big-time developer. He owns the Mana space in Wynwood, where 3 Points is. He owns a lot of properties, and he bought up a lot of downtown. And his plans for downtown are kind of an artsy kind of district type of thing. Not really the same as... It's funny is that he's not going to sell. His idea is just not to sell. It's to cultivate.
I would do the same.
But I don't know. It's kind of stalling there. But 777 Mall on Friday, 4 to 9 p.m. You're going to swap clothes. Take those tighty-whities of yours, Griff.
Yep, I'm going to bring them.
And you can switch them out for ones with no skid marks. You got Ultra all weekend there on Virginia Key. Oof. I think it's sold out. But I'll tell you this. I drove by, and the way they're doing Ultra this year is at the Marine Stadium, Miami Marine Stadium, and then in the Virginia Key Park. And the distance between the two, they're going to have stages in both places. The distance between the two must be a 25-minute walk.
Yeah, at least. It's really long.
It's a really long distance.
Yeah.
And what they've done is they've put up these barricades all the way down the line, and then there's these pedestrian overpasses that they've built over the road, like over some of the intersections and stuff like that. I think, and I'm not telling you to do this, but I think that if you tried to sneak in there, you could probably find a little spot where you could jump that fence or do something. It's a lot of fence. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of fence to be watched.
There's a lot of fence, and the distance is really long.
The other thing you could try to do...
How are these people going to do it? I don't know.
The other thing you could try to do is sneak onto Virginia Key on a boat. I don't think it's impossible.
If I was here, we could probably try it.
Oh, you're leaving? When?
Probably soon. Soon, in a few days.
What do you mean? Things this weekend.
Exactly. Exactly. Leave so I don't have to deal with it.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 2 to 2 a.m. That's Ultra Music Festival, if you've not heard of it.
How many tickets do they sell?
They have 60,000 people a day.
But how many tickets do they sell?
Oh, you're right. I don't know how many tickets they sell.
Because, wow, 60,000, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, and that's a day. Not everybody goes every day. So,
when in the hell did it become 60,000 people? I remember going to Ultra and it wasn't even close to 60,000.
I don't know.
What the hell? Where do they get that statistic?
I don't know. That's how many tickets they sell. That's how
crazy.
Oh, and if you're going to Ultra, if by any chance you're listening to us and you're going to Ultra this weekend, Ultra, they're not going to Lyft and Uber are not going to pick up people at Ultra. They'll drop you off, but they're not going to pick you up because the way things are set up, it's just impossible to have everybody leave the festival and get picked up in that mess, right? They have these buses, 55 people buses. That sounds like a party. With bathrooms and stuff leaving from downtown, from Coconut Grove, from like the Sky area.
What a shit show.
Yeah. 200 of those buses, and they're telling people it's going to take them 20 minutes to get from down. Yeah, right.
And they're running Metro Rail 24 hours.
Yes, that's the other thing. Yeah, Ultra paid to run Metro Rail all night.
But if you're smart, you're going to take the ferry.
So the ferry costs like it's like $50.
Yeah, but if you're rolling, that's like the best way to go.
All right. On Saturday, March 30th, this Saturday, you've got Donzi, Seafoam Walls, and a lecture on horticulture by Joshua Sagarribai at Center for Subtropical Affairs.
Sounds interesting.
That's up in Little Haiti. Donzi's doing a residency there. One of my favorite bands in Miami, and Seafoam Walls is really good too. You guys should check this out because it's a cool little vibe. It starts relatively early, so you can go there first and then go out somewhere else. And yeah, I don't know. It's something that I wanted to recommend. Also on Saturday, the 30th, you have DJ Harvey at the Electric Pickle, which I'm telling you I was going to be there. I don't know what time I'll get there, but it should be a good time. And then we have Primary Projects. Cody Hudson is opening their Primary Projects also on Saturday. That's like at 7 o'clock, so you can go 7 o'clock to Primary. You can go right after that to Center for Subtropical Affairs. And then you can go to DJ Harvey. And then finally, you got the Miami Record Fair at Gramps that day too during the day. So let me rephrase that for you. You go to the Record Fair at Gramps. When that ends, you know, you splash some water on your face. You go to Primary Projects to see this opening. That takes like 20 minutes. Free booze. Nice. Check some art out. Actually, I saw what it looks like. Kind of gives me like a Matisse vibe, if you know what I'm talking about. Then you go to the Center for Subtropical Affairs, and then you go to DJ Harvey. That's your Saturday all planned out. Saturday night, obviously, there's a lot of things going on, so you don't have to go to the Pickle if you don't want to.
Don't forget about eating.
How about next week, Griff? I'll tell you what's next week. On Monday, next? The O Miami Poetry Festival starts. Go to omiami.org/events. I love the Poetry Festival. I don't go to all the events. I probably go to one or two, but they're just cool. It's cool that every night for the whole month they have poetry events. Some are fun, some are more serious. You got to find the ones that you like. They always do these cool competitions where they ask people to, make poems about their zip code and all this kind of stuff, and then people read them. One time I went to one at Gramps that was just kind of an open mic for poets. I had such a good time. Another time I went to one at Nina Johnson Gallery where they were reading poetry put together with a classical score that these girls were playing on violins, and it was like a string quartet or something like that. I don't remember the exact details, but I remember that was really cool. Just check out their events, omiami.org/events. And they got really lucky this year. They got, well, not just luck. I mean, it's hard work too because they've been around for so long. They got a bunch of money from the Knight Foundation, so hopefully that means that they're going to put on some really good stuff. On Friday, April 5th, you got Dad's Day Off, The Doers, who I really like, at Las Nubes, at Space Mountain again. Everywhere I'm recommending is Space Mountain. This place is so good.
On 60-something and 7th.
Yes.
Is it Northwest or Southwest?
It's northwest.
Okay.
Yeah. Northwest.
All right.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Yeah. 62nd. 62nd. You get off on the highway on 62nd,
Gotcha.
You make a left.
Gotcha.
You're going north, you make a left. And you're right there. Space Mountain, Miami. Check them out on Instagram. They have all these great shows, all these great, it's just I don't know what to call it, cutting edge, but it's just a nice space for alternative art and music, and it's small and it's cheap. Take your own booze because they're just a space. They don't have a bar. They will sometimes have beers and stuff like that for a donation, but you're fine tailgating in the parking lot. Nobody's going to say anything. I do it all the time. Okay. And then Saturday, April 6th and Sunday, April 7th, you have the Miami Zine Fair at the Little Haiti Cultural Complex. If you want to exhibit or if you want to buy cool zines from Miami, go check that out. That's pretty much the show. Again, subscribe on all the damn platforms.
Please.
I want to thank Jolt for hosting us. I want to say hi to the panel that couldn't make it, to Anna and Artie. Hope you'll be back in 2 weeks. I know they will. And I want to thank you, Griff, for tolerating this cozy moment that we've had.
Nice little mellow one-on-one.
Yeah, it's nice to do it this way and kind of change the pace. I hope you, the listener, has enjoyed it, and I hope you keep listening to Jolt and keep listening to our show. We will be back in 2 weeks. Have a good one.
See ya.